Bit of context. We've been together since we were 18. Never had a great bed life after the first year. Maybe once or twice a year at most since then, but at the minute it's going on 3 years. And although it bothers me, I love her and I love our kids, so I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I know plenty of friends in the same situation. Another bit of context is that I've always been mildly overweight, but always fit as I played a lot of sports until about 10 years ago when I got really ill, and a mixture of meds and comfort eating made me balloon up to nearly 300 pounds. Well, 2 years ago, I decided to do something about it. I'm now around 200, which at 6 feet 2 inches is the lightest I've been as an adult, and I've actually enjoyed using weights, and for the first time in my life, have a bit of abs and some muscle. My wife, having always been far hotter, is pretty obviously insecure about the fact that for the first time we've been together, women are starting to look at me and message me on my baking pages on social media. For the record, I've never even looked at another woman in that way. On to the night in question. My wife went out with some friends, a mix of singles and in a relationship. She looked stunning, and I told her so. I even updated my phone home screen to that picture of her lol. One of the friends she was out with messaged me about 3 months ago, and the gist was, she knows I get no making love. My wife doesn't realize how lucky she is, and basically, do I want to hook up? I obviously instantly take a screenshot and send it to my wife. Around 4 a.m., my wife gets home, and she wakes me up as she gets into bed. I'm half awake, but can tell something is wrong and ask what the matter is. She doesn't say anything for a few seconds, and as I go to grab her hand, she pulls away. I ask if she wants me to get her a drink, and she says no. Then she just blurts it out and says, "I met a guy tonight, he kissed me. I didn't kiss back at first, then I did. Then for the next half hour, we were dancing and constantly kissing." She kept saying sorry and begging me not to leave her. My honest first reaction was, so what, it's only kissing and dancing? I didn't say that, I just hugged her and tried to calm her down. An hour or so later, once I got the right words in my head, I said, "I know you feel really guilty, but please don't. I'm not going to leave you and break up our family over some kissing and dancing, and I don't love you any less than I did yesterday, and this isn't something that's going to grow and cause an resentment." More or less, right on cue, my phone goes off, and it's that friend of hers with a picture and a video of what my wife was doing. This set my wife off again, but my feelings still haven't changed, and a month later that remains the case. In that month since then, my wife has accused me of not loving her because I didn't care. She's accused me of kissing other people and more, which is why I didn't care, as I was covering up my own indiscretions. And she's accused me of being gay multiple times, which doesn't make sense. She keeps asking me why I haven't initiated anything with her, even though in the past she's told me she hates being touched and not to ever try it on with her, which I have respected. She's basically projecting, and it's annoying me as it's putting a strain on us, which she is 100% causing. How do I get through to her that she needs to stop feeling guilty and just move on, because I have, as it's not a big deal? I was genuinely more annoyed when she broke my baking bowl and tried to blame it on the cat, lol. All just wanted to say thank you all so much for taking the time to respond to me. I really do appreciate it, and I'm overwhelmed that you all took the time. I keep getting asked a few questions, so thought I'd address them here. Over the years, we have been to a few different couples counselors and coition therapists, the latest being last September for both. My wife always feels like she's being victimized by them, and we stop going. Nearly all have said, though, they think she is asexual, and 2 even saying she is displaying a lot of signs of being a closeted lesbian, which I have brought up to her before, and she is adamant she's not. On that note, I've had a lot of messages saying she wants to feel wanted, and for me to be more forward with her. This is not true. In all our sessions, she said she doesn't want me trying it on with her. She doesn't even want me to initiate hugs, and just bringing up coition makes her feel under pressure. She let me and our therapists know that if she ever coitus without her initiating it will be no more than pity coition. As for people saying I don't love her, I buy her flowers every Friday on the way home from work. I bake her favorite cookies or cupcakes every weekend. I send her voice notes of songs I'm listening to that remind me of her. I tell her I love her every day. I run her a bath every night. This isn't me showing off. This is how I was brought up to show love for those saying I must have been brought up in an unloving home. People have said that I don't get jealous. I don't love her. If she told me she was having an emotional affair, she spent hours on the phone with someone else laughing and joking. She snuggled on a sofa, eating chocolates and watching TV with someone, etc. I'd be devastated. A dance and a kiss isn't a big deal to me, and not even close to divorce. Thank you all again for reading. Second edit, sorry for these. It's 7 a.m. in the morning here now, the day after I posted this. Been talking to my wife since 6, and said she's got a week to agree to go back to couples counseling, and she's got to stick it out this time and not just accuse them of taking sides and refuse to go back. She said no. She said they all bully her and make her out to be the bad guy. She said I went back on my word that I forgive her and won't resent her. I said this isn't about the kiss, it's about her reaction since the kiss, and that it feels like she's purposely trying to drive me away and make me leave her. She just got up and stormed out the room. She then got dressed and said she's going out until I go to work. Original poster shared a new update. It's been nearly 2 weeks since I made the post, and the short update is that we are getting divorced. I said in my last post, I told her I wanted us to go back to couples counseling and coition therapy. She said no to both as we went before and she felt bullied. She said at coition therapy that unless she initiates touching, not just coitus, any touching like hugs or hand-holding, it will be against her will and will be forced pity affection from her. The coition therapist said that's very unreasonable and that's why she felt bullied there. I tried to ask her a few questions too. Are you a lesbian, or at least bi? Don't be stupid. Are you asexual? I'm not a teenager with a stupid label. What did he have that I don't? Nothing. I just wanted to do it. Why don't you ever want to do that with me? Don't know. What can I do to make you want to do that to me? Don't you know? Do you want me to take the initiative and try it on with you more? Hell no. I'll tell you when I want it. Don't guess. So she refused the therapy and gave me no straight answers. She has also said I've gone back on my word about not letting the kiss split us up, because now it is. I said it's not the kiss, it's your behavior since then that has caused me to want to divorce. She said as it's my decision to divorce and it's all my fault, then I should be the one to tell out kids, and she will have no part of it. That was hard. As soon as they were told, my wife left for her sister's, and in the 3 days since I haven't heard anything from her. I've tried speaking to her about the kids as they miss her, but she reads my messages and ignores me. A lot of people asked about the friend and why they still talk after she tried it on with me. How I understand it is my wife tried to get the friend group to cut the friend out, but they all pretty much refused, and so my wife just chose to ignore her in group settings. On the night in question, the friend approached my wife and told her if she didn't tell me, she would send me the video. So my wife didn't tell me because she felt guilty, but because she was forced. I've also spoken to a couple of other friends in the group and asked what's been going on. I'm not privy to. Apparently my wife was flirting texting her friend's boyfriend a couple of years ago. My wife has also been boasting about how she has me under the thumb and she gets away with giving me nothing, and I'm too scared to ask. The friend apparently saw me out shopping one day and decided I was now more freakable and thought she'd try and exact some revenge on my wife, so she didn't really want me. I was just a pawn in this weird friend group, one of many internal beefs with each other, which I've found out about in the last few days. Basically, they all seem to hate each other and mess with each other's partners. I'll be honest now, and I feel incredibly guilty about it, but when she left, my body and soul seemed to take a massive sigh of relief. It was like a black cloud that was dripping eggshells on the floor for me to constantly avoid has gone. I feel terrible for feeling this way, but I feel like I'm 6 feet 2 inches tall now, rather than a browbeaten 3 foot who was scared to even say anything for fear of being told I'm wrong or insulted or ridiculed. It's like the blinkers have been taken off. Spent the day today baking with my kids, eating Easter eggs and watching cartoons, and I haven't stopped smiling all day. I haven't winced or broke out in a sweat, worrying I'm about to be told off about being too noisy or watching the wrong thing on TV or there's a wrapper on the floor, etc. Thank you everyone for your support on my last post. I appreciate you all. Mini update 1 week later. After my last update, a lot of people commented and messaged me to say that I am sure my kids are mine. This thought never entered my head until I read what people said. Last Thursday, I ordered a paternity test, sent it Friday, and am awaiting the results. At this point, I don't really care. It won't change my love for them, but I'm terrified if they come back as not biologically mine, I'll lose them. I discussed this with my lawyer last week, who said if they aren't mine, it will be much harder to get even any kind of custody. I told him if it comes to that, then I'll keep fighting until the end. Blood or no, they are my boys. Speaking of the boys, my soon-to-be ex has seen them a couple of times with her mom, who is genuinely a nice person, and the kids have been fine. I can't say the same about my baking equipment though. She came into the house on Friday last week when she knew I was out and took a lot of it and purposely broke some bits she knew had sentimental value to me that came from my grandma and my mom. I can't prove she did anything, and she brought the stuff back on Sunday and said she just borrowed the items, but I love baking and she is slowly ruining it for me. I'd already deleted my Instagram page because she was insecure about the women who followed me, and this time she must have remembered I was making a cake for my niece's birthday and tried to sabotage it. I've made notes and screenshots of everything. As a lot of you rightly predicted, she had also been cheating on me a lot, although no evidence of it being physical yet, from what I can tell. Her friend, who is also in this WhatsApp group, where women basically just post nudes and men comment, I still need to get the details of this group so I can finally get to see some boobs again. Lol, sent me a lot more screenshots of photos she's taken, all around our house, blatantly her bedroom in some of them, and one even stood against my car. Also, a few of these friends are single, and when they hook up with someone, my wife will add the guy on Facebook and has basically been offering herself to them. One of the friends messaged one of the guys who still had the chats in his Facebook DMs and sent the friend a load of screenshots to send to me. All in all, I must have over 100 screenshots of stuff she's been saying and sending to people, and all of that is within the last couple of years, so it probably goes on further. As for the divorce, still in the early stages. One day I want to fight the next. I just want to give her everything, materially, not the kids, and walk away and start again so I can get this finished and done. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer. It's nearly midnight here, but I'll try to stay up, lol. Mini update, 3 days later with the title, it's 6 a.m. nearly here. My ex-wife had the kids last night and I'm drunk and lonely. First night I've had to myself in maybe 20 odd years, and I didn't know what to do. I thought about getting someone round so I could finally have some physical interaction. Instead, I just sat on my own and drank for the first time in years too. Sorry for the boring post. I'm just lonely and wanted some affection. I have moved back to my hometown and given my ex the house. I know people won't be happy with that, but I just wanted a clean break and no ties to her or that city. The kids are with me and see their mom on weekends, provided I make the 5-hour round trip to drop them off on a Saturday morning and then make the same trip Sunday afternoon to pick them up. I know again, people will say I'm doing what she wants, but if it makes my kids happy, it makes me happy. She seems okay with this arrangement, although she has flaked twice already. Once the kids say they no longer want to go, I won't take them. The divorce is still going through, but won't be done for a few more months yet, according to my lawyer. I'm baking a lot more now and loving it. Thank you everyone who has thought about me. You are all so great. Original poster shared the update post with title. My ex messaged me yesterday saying she no longer wants to see our 2 kids and is happy to give them away in our divorce. How to navigate mixed emotions of this. I posted on here a few months ago if you want to look at my profile and read them about my wife kissing another man on a night out despite not having had coition with me for years. I wasn't bothered and was willing to ignore it and carry on, but she kept making issues over it, and eventually we split up. I moved back to my home city about 2 hours away, and the kids came with me. My ex-wife said it was too far for her to travel to have them at weekends, so every Saturday morning I've been driving them up to her and then picking them back up Sunday evening so they got to see their mum. We'd make fun trips out of it and would take snacks, play audiobooks, have sing-alongs, etc. But I'd noticed they always seemed happier to be picked up than taken there. I just always assumed it was because all their stuff and their main home was with me. My ex has started to cancel these weekends a bit recently. 3 of the last 5 she's canceled. She started to say things like, "They don't like me anyway," and "You've poisoned them," which is not true. I have never said a bad thing about their mum to them or in front of them, and never would. Plus, I make 2 4-hour round trips every weekend so she can see them and they can see her. I'll be honest, every Saturday after I drop them off, I cry all the way home. I miss them so much. They are my little best mates. Every night after dinner, we will all do our chores and do a different activity. Sometimes it's a walk in the woods behind my house, or we bake, or have movie nights, or read books together. I'm quite good with my hands and love making and fixing things, whether it's baking, cooking, DIY, or car repairs. And they have started to take an interest too. So, we have a couple of projects on the go, like building a kind of Wendy house for them, but it will have games, consoles, a fridge for their drinks and snacks, etc. Plus, we are also building a couple of petrol go-karts from scratch for them to race at a nearby track when they are done, which they are designing themselves, and we are building together. Basically, my life is taken up with them in the week, and then at the weekends, I feel like a lost zombie until it's time to go get them. Then yesterday, I received a short text from her saying she no longer wants to see them. All they do is ask for me anyway. They don't have fun there, and they basically get in the way. I was absolutely heartbroken for my boys, and I rang her straight away. I'll be honest, I started crying as I felt so bad for them, and she genuinely acted like I was annoying her for wanting to get to the bottom of it. She then said, "Sounds like you don't want them either, and are just trying to palm them off on the weekends," and hung up on me. I don't even know how I'm going to tell them this. Do I just say she's canceled for a few weeks and see how it goes? Do I tell them the truth? How do I say it in a way that kids will understand and won't absolutely crush them? Then I've got the conflicted, selfish emotion of pure joy that I'll have the whole weekend with them. It's so selfish of me, I know, as they are going to be sad while I'm happy. Has anyone been in a similar situation from my side or the kid's side? How do I handle this? Okay, let's see some relevant comments. Are kids in therapy? I got them in therapy as soon as we split up because everyone in their life is attached to this one way or another, and they need an outside voice to help them understand it, and someone they can be truly honest with without fear of hurting feelings. Have her give up her parental rights, talk to a lawyer. I spoke to a lawyer today and showed him everything, which was then emailed over to him, and he sent a letter to her divorce lawyer saying that I want sole custody. Original poster replied, "I don't need her money. I make enough to look after us as is. If I ever was to receive anything, it would go into savings for them." To a longer comment accusing him of making everything up. So men can't be abused and made to feel worthless and unloved. She can keep the house. It's worth about £140,000, so £70,000 is a small price to pay to be rid of her. We don't have alimony here in the United Kingdom. Once you're divorced, you're done. We pay child support, but that goes to the main parent, which is me. And she can keep her £25 a week. I don't need it. I've got plenty of anger and resentment towards her. Trust me, mate. If she was on fire, I wouldn't piss on her. But I'm not going to show that anger and resentment in front of the kids, am I? Because I'm not a freaking psycho? Why would you walk away from the 70,000? It's just going to drag on forever and frustrate the heck out of me. I know it's not worth it. She's going to wreck the house to lower the value. She'll refuse to let people view it. She'll miss all the meetings. She'll refuse to sign anything. She's going to make this unbearable, and I'll be driving 4-hour round trips hundreds of times for no reason. It genuinely isn't worth it. She will make my life a living hell, and would rather walk away with nothing than me walk away with something. Update post, almost 1 month later. Quick recap. Split up with my wife a few months ago after she cheated on me on a night out. I was willing to stay, but she got upset. I wasn't more upset, and I had enough and left. I moved 2 hours away to my hometown and let her have the house. Our 2 sons came with me. I drive them to and from her house every weekend to see them, but she started canceling, and then one day texted me saying she no longer wants to see them and is happy to give them up in the divorce. So as far as her giving up her rights as a parent, it's a lot harder than I thought. Both my lawyer and hers have told me that it's hard to do this in the United Kingdom, and neither of them have seen a judge allow it unless there is a physical or sensual chance of harm to the children. However, they have both also said they've never presented a case like this to a judge where both parties agree to it fully. They've drafted an agreement where we both agree that my ex-wife no longer has responsibilities towards my children, including financially. Let's see what happens with that. Just waiting now to get a court date, but they said that can be months away. On to the hardest part, telling my kids. I'll be honest, I haven't. The first couple of weeks, I just said Mom had canceled again when they asked, and the eldest in particular seemed pretty relieved at this, both times, and last weekend, they didn't even ask. It's been over a month now since they've seen her. The eldest has also told me that he doesn't like going there anyway, as all she does is sleep and shout. He also told me the other day he prefers his new house and he feels more relaxed. I feel terrible, as I was obviously missing signs before that he wasn't fully happy when we were together as a family. At least he's more comfortable now. I had a bit of a wobble last night with my youngest though. He was watching Land Before Time, and then he started saying he misses his mom, and then started crying. It was full-blown tears and breaking down, and it was awful to see. While I was holding him, I started crying, but I made sure he couldn't see. I didn't say anything bad about his mom or tell him she doesn't want to see him anymore. I just hugged him and stroked his hair and told him I'll always be here for him, and he can always come to me if he's upset, happy, or just wants to be silly, and I'll never push him away. Once they were in bed, I was in pieces, blaming myself for leaving their mom, questioning why I couldn't be stronger and live with it for a few more years until they were adults. It was me who left. It's me who's made them drive up and down the country every weekend, unsettled them, uprooted their lives. At 2 a.m. this morning, I drafted a text to my wife, asking her to get back together and to be a mom again. Luckily, I didn't send it. I had about 3 hours of sleep, but felt better this morning. None of her family have been in touch either to try and maintain a relationship with the boys. It's horrible, to be honest, but they are the ones missing out on these 2 amazing kids. One of her cousins messages me every so often, but she asks more about me than kids, so that either feels like ulterior motives or a trap, which I'm not falling into. As for my divorce, MG lawyer has said it should hopefully be finalized before Christmas. Not that it'll make much difference. I don't wear my ring, and she has a new 20-year-old boyfriend, not the guy she cheated with. Will be nice though to finally be able to say ex-wife and it be official. Here's relevant comments. Commenter: why not just say no to her being absolved of all responsibilities? Tell her it's fine that they're not going to come visit anymore, but she still needs to pay child support. Then put it in the bank for your children's future. Original poster replied, she barely works. I mean, tested it, and she'd pay around £20 a month. Rather go without. To another, she works 15 hours a week. When I did an online means tester, it was about $20 a month. Small price to pay to be rid of her. To another, I have 5-figure savings accounts for both of them, plus my garage, which is a successful business, and I own the land it's built on. £20 a month is £240 a year. I can make that in the morning on a side job on a car. I'd rather do that once a year than have to ever have a reason to talk to her again. Somebody said, were there signs that she was like this? Is it possible this is a mental health issue? Or was she always like this and dismissive? Original poster replied, looking back, she was always dismissive of me. Can count on my hands how many times we've had coition in the last 15 years, and in the end she banned me from any sort of touching, like holding hands or hugging. She was a good mom until a couple of years ago, and then within a few months, over half her friend group became single, and that's when she started to change towards the kids too.